Hey, what's going on? My name is Bill. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go over a little video. I'm going to keep this one as short as I can. This one is going to be, my folks wanted they have one of those trees. It's like a fall tree and it's for inside, and she wanted to have like little ornaments you can hang on it for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to put together a couple of like a couple turkey ones, and another one is just like a little happy Thanksgiving sign. And I just figured it'd be kind of good to bring you along on a ride and let you see how I do it and what I do, where I find them, how I go about creating them and cutting them out. And we're going to use the Burn Lab A20 Pro laser, which is what I'm going to use today. So in a minute, I'm going to jump back on the computer and I'll bring you back on. All right, stand by. All right, I'm back on the computer, and we're going to now go over where I found my images on the internet, online, and kind of start with that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on your web browser. And if you click on your web browser, you can type in the address bar right there, free SVG Thanksgiving turkeys. And once you click on that, it's going to bring up a page which would be something similar to this. Now what I do is I go ahead and I'll click images here. And what I'll do is I'll click images, and I'm going to show you over here. Let me close this part out right here. And you'll come up here and you'll click, go all the way back to the top. You'll click images, black and white, and then you're going to click the clip art. So once you click images, you go to your filter, you click black and white, and then clip art or line drawn. And then that's going to bring up all these SVG images that you'll be able to use. Now, if you're selling these, you have to be careful. You want to make sure that none of these are going to be copyright infringed. You know, somebody owns the patent to those. But if you're just making them and you're giving them away as gifts, then that's fine. But you're going to go down until you find the one, and I'm trying to find the one that I liked. It should be fairly close. Right here it is. All right, and then you click on that, and then it's going to bring up the a little link for it. Of course, my internet is going a little nuts right this minute. All right, it's going to bring up this right here, and what you're looking at is it's the images that this is the one that I had. This is the one that we're going to pull up for this first one. All you're going to do is once you have it in there, you're going to put your finger over it, right click, copy image. Now you're going to go to Lightburn. You're going to right click and hit paste. Now you're going to left click on that image, drop it down, and you're going to right click and you're going to go trace image. Now Lightburn's trace images, it works very, very well. I just go ahead and I leave it to what it is. Most of the time, it's going to be perfect the way it is. Sometimes you might have to adjust the threshold or the cutoff, but for the most part, it's pretty right on. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now we're going to go back to the internet, and we're going to click this one here. And I'm hoping that it's going to go. My internet is definitely acting a little goofy. Let me go ahead and... But now we're going to click on him, and then there he is. Is that the one we did? Let me look. No, we did the other one. Okay, so now you're going to right click on it, and you're going to copy image. Same thing, go back to Lightburn. Right click, paste. We're going to bring it back down in size a little bit, and we're going to right click again, trace image, and hit OK. All right, now we know they're not the size that we want yet, but we're just getting them brought into the into Lightburn right now. Now the other one was, see if I can find it. Nope, it's not up there, so we'll go ahead and cancel that. And it was something like this, but let me go down just a little bit farther. A little bit more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Right here, we'll click on this one. And we're going to scroll down a little bit because I think this is where I did find that one. And where is it? Yeah, it's right here. You're going to left click on that. You're going to right click, and then you're going to do the same thing you did before. Copy image. Last time, go back into Lightburn, right click, and paste. There it is. Now we're going to click on that, bring it down just a little bit more, scale it down. Now we're going to right click, trace image, and we're going to leave that at that. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to put yourself a little box, and we're going to put that into a toolpath. And I'm going to make that box, I don't want them to be much more than 3 inches. So we're going to go 3, tab 3. Now we know that's about the size. We don't want to go any bigger than what that size is. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this one down here. We're going to click on this one, because you can see I already have them all done over here. These are the ones I made, and I'm going to show you how I did do those. Now we're going to take this, bring it down to about, I don't want to do that, backspace, roughly right about there. Let's go just a little bit smaller. All right, that'll work. Now let's pull that out of the way, get this one, and let's drop that size down. That'll work for that. And then the last one is going to be this one here. Let's go ahead and drop that down to right about there. Now, some of these were, you can see on this image how they're cut, like some of the leaves are cut and the branches are cut. And what I did is I just went over here and I just deleted them and then copy and paste and moved them in place to where they were, just to make it so that it looked a little bit more uniformed. So you have to ungroup everything. Now let's find one that's cut. Let's get this one. Right click, delete. Now let's take this one and Control D and duplicate it. Bring it down here. Let's turn it and let's make it a little bit smaller so it don't look exactly the same as that other one. And you just go around the border and you add the ones you want, get rid of the ones you don't want. Like these are all just not going to work. So you want to get rid of the ones that are cut off and then replace them with your own. And that's all I did over here on this one here. It's a little different image, but it's close enough to the same one that I was using. All right, so let's leave this one right here. Try to keep them all together. All right, now let me go ahead and group that all back together. And group. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this one here, put it in this square because we know it's 3 by 3 roughly. And what you're going to do is you're going to put that on another layer that's not a filled layer, and you're going to ungroup it, and you're going to click off it. Now you're going to click just that outer layer. And what you want to do is go to your offset fill, click on the offset fill, make sure it is outward, and 0.04 is a good number. That worked good on the other ones. And you want to select the resultant object. You do not want to delete the original object. You want to select the original object. Click OK. Now turn that into the red layer, your cut layer. Now the other thing we want to do, let's go ahead and make sure that this is grouped temporarily. Now we're going to click the outer box and we're going to center that into the middle. Okay. Now what you want to do in order to get where you can put your string to hang it, you're going to bring a little circle. Let's make a perfect circle by holding the shift. And that looks pretty good right there. So we'll make it, let's go 2.3 by 2.3. Tab. I'm sorry, 0.23 by 0.23. 0.23. There we go. Now you're going to click this circle. And by having this box here showing that it's 3 inches by 3 inches, it'd be hard to find where you're going to put it at here to have it in the middle. So what you're going to do is you're going to go across this until you see it, get that bullseye. Now you know that is the middle of your turkey. Now you're going to control and you're going to shift down to where I say you always have enough meat on your bone around this circle that's going to cut out and this outline that's going to cut out. That should be more than enough meat on your bone right there. Now we're going to go ahead and select that, pull it off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and get this one here. Let's bring this up, snap him in the middle there. Oh, I had it, lost it, have it. Okay, now we're going to do the same. We're going to ungroup this one, and we're going to change that one to, let's get off of that one there. We're going to change that to the green layer just because that's my line layer. And click off it, zoom in and click on that outer line. Do the same thing, offset fill, outward, selected resultant object, 0.04. Turn that one to the red layer. Now, we're going to go over here and we're going to click on that, Control D and duplicate that and bring that up here. And we're going to line that up on this box to where you see it, get that bullseye right there. Control down arrow key until you get enough meat on that bone. Now, the reason why I do this is because if you have this over here, when you go to hang it, then what it's going to do is, if you have it on this edge, it's going to do this. So I want it to be straight. When it's hanging on the tree, I want it to be straight. So you want to have that circle exactly in the middle of this image. Like I said, if you have it over here, it's going to do that. If you put it on this side, it's going to go there. So that's how it's going to hang. So I want to be straight. That's why I put that circle, and that's why I bring it to where it's even right in the middle of this box. Now that's enough meat on the bone around that, so we can go ahead and select that, unselect that box, and let's bring that, do it again, unselect that box, and bring that down. Now the last one you have is going to be this one here, but this one you're going to have a border around it, otherwise it's not going to be able to cut that out. So we're going to snap that in place here, right into the middle. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click the outer layer, Control, and we're going to put that right in the middle. Now, we're going to go ahead and get this circle, Control and D, bring that up, line that right. Oh, wrong one. It didn't get what I wanted. So let's zoom in a little bit more. Control D. Now let's put this to where we get it right in the middle, right there, snap right in the middle. Now we can bring that down to where we got enough meat on that bone. And that's it for the creating of what these are. It's as simple and basic as that. But the thing you're going to have to do is, let's click all of this without that out one. And now let's hit Control and let's deselect that red circle. And now we're going to change that to the blue because that'll be my engrave line. So you'll see it's going to engrave all this. And we're going to do the same here. Well, actually, what the easier way to do that is if you go to your cuts and layers and you hit Shift and your left mouse key is going to highlight all of the green. So if you have any other green, it's going to highlight those too. But if you're only using just those that are the green, then you hold the Shift, left click on the layer that you want, and it's going to select them all. Now you can go over here and change to the blue layer. So you still have your red outline, you still have your red cut, and I do see somewhere we lost this other piece right here. Anyway, this is just for instance, I do have it over here that you'll be able to see when it does at the end when it's all cut out. But that'll, by holding the Shift and then left clicking the color that you want, it's going to highlight all of them. Now you see everything's highlighted, and if I change it to, let's say, red, you see it changed them all to red. I'm going to go back because I didn't really want to do red. I should have done the black. Now everything is engraved in a black layer. And then you still have all your red. So that's going to cut that out. It's going to cut the outside of that. It's going to cut that circle, the outside of that. And it's going to cut this circle and then the outside of that. Now, in order to be able to hang this, you can do it two ways. You can do it with that circle like I did it, or you can add a circle on top like I've also done it. And to add that circle on top, I'm just going to go ahead and click this red one, bring it up so we know it's in the middle, which is right when you get the bullseye there. And I'm going to control shift it up just a little bit. Let me come down just a hair. Now, I want to control D, duplicate that, bring that in now so I have a hole. Now, click the outer ring and the outer square and weld. And now you have that welded. So you can do it that way, or you can have the circle cut out below here. I did it with the circle and cut out like that. To me, it looked a little nicer that way. So that's it for that. Let me bring these over here. Let me bring these over. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a square that's going to be on a toolpath, and I want that square in inches. I want it, well, we'll go in millimeters. My square that I buy is usually 300 by 300 millimeters. What I'm going to make it is I'm going to make it 290, tab 290. Because they're not all exactly 300 by 300, but being 290 is more than enough. Now, get your selector tool, bring this on your work plane, and you know that you can put these guys down to the bottom here. Control D if you want to make duplicates, a few of these. You can bring them up. Control D and go back. Didn't do what I wanted. Control D and bring that up. And then you can have 12 of them. So if you were gonna do this and you wanted 12 of them, you can do that. Now remember what I said. I want those to be the blue layer. So you hit Shift, left click, the layer that you want to change that to blue. Now they're all going to be the blue. Now, when you're going to go engrave and cut this out, if you look over here on your cuts layers, the first thing it's going to do, because that's on top, it's going to cut out your circles and your outline of the piece. That's not what you want to have first. You want to have your engrave first. So you're going to click and hold and bring it up. Or you can highlight it and hit these arrow keys to get it to the priority that you want to have. You always want to engrave first, then you always want to cut. Because if you go to cut it and it drops it down, it's going to make your laser out of focus. It could or it could not. Most of the time it's going to make it out of focus for you. So you do want to have your priority engrave first and then cut. And of course, the T1 is not going to cut because that's just a tool path. So when you set this over onto the machine and you frame this out, it's going to know, because you're framing the tool path, it's going to frame that whole thing out, and then you can line your wood on your laser on your honeycomb. You can get it lined up perfect so that when it starts to do it, you'll be good to go. Now the other thing you can do too is you also want to probably move these over just a hair. A, it'll save a little time. B, it'll give you a little more space for maybe another project, an earring or something like that. Now we can bring these over here, and that'll be fine like that. And you could always bring them down a little bit as well too, but you kind of get I'll do the first one. You get the point what I'm talking about. You just want to bring them down to where they're touching but not touching. That might be just a little too close, so we'll just back it out just a hair. And it did, unfortunately, mess with, because it did highlight those also, which I did not want it to do. They sure did make a little jumbo mess of that. There we go. So that's how you line them, and that's how you set them up. Remember the shortcut of trying to get these to change colors. You highlight the one you want, shift, left click, and it'll highlight every black that you have on your whole entire Lightburn work plane. And then you can change it to whatever color you want. You want blue, orange, whatever color you want, green, yellow. But blue is usually what I use for my my engraving. Red is what I usually use for my cuts. And then the other thing, you want to make sure you have your priority set for your cuts and layers. So when you are engraving and cutting it, you will know that it's going to engrave first, then cut last. The only way, and now it's going to cut first and engrave last. So you just bring it up to the top. Okay. Now the way I have mine set up is I have it in offset fill. I actually was just messing around to see if I can get a little bit quicker, but I'm actually going to keep it in fill, 12,000 millimeters. This is my settings that works well for me. 12,000 millimeters a minute at 100% power, 1% overscan, and not quite 300 lines per inch LPI. And then I also have a line after fill. That's what's going to make it engrave a lot darker. It's just going to make it pop and stand out a whole lot better by having that line after fill. And you can add them and you can subtract them. You can add as many as you want, but I have my line after fill set at 3,000 millimeters a minute and 60% power. That's a little aggressive, but I like the darkness that it gives me on my laser machine. It does well for my laser machine. Other laser machines, it might burn it through. I don't know. But on my laser machine, the testing I've done, that's the settings that I want for my line after fill. But this first one here, 1 is your fill, and then 2 is your line after fill. Then you just hit OK, and that's what it's going to be. And then my cuts I use is 300 millimeters a minute at 100% power. This is supposed to be 3 millimeter plywood. It's more like 2.8 or 2 points. I don't know. I didn't measure it, but it's going to be somewhere around that. I just know 300 millimeters a minute. It's going to do okay on that 3 millimeter plywood. So that's just what I use. But that's it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get them laid on a honeycomb. I'm going to get them engraved and cut out. And afterwards, I'll show you what we have. All right. I appreciate it. Stand by. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to frame to make sure that my stuff is centered properly on this wood. I know it's a little loud. Once I get it going, I'll fast forward everything and it'll be a little bit better. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to hit the frame button on Lightburn. And you're going to see it's going to go back and forth. And you just want to make sure that your images are inside that. All you do at that point is you click OK. It's going to come around its final time. And now all you do on Lightburn is you just go ahead and you click Start. And like I said, I'll play this for a couple minutes and then for just a few, and then I'll go ahead and fast forward it so you're not sitting there watching the whole thing. And here we go. cut out and burned, engraved. So I was going to show you, first batch I did, the last batch I did it at 320 millimeters a second. I'm sorry, 300 millimeters a minute. And most of them dropped out fine, but some of them had little pieces that didn't drop out. So I slowed it down to 300 millimeters a minute. And I'm gonna kind of pull it off here and see how it cut everything, if it cut it out good the way it was supposed to. So let's see. Just slowing it down that little bit should definitely help it out. And it did. So that, just dropping it down just a little tiny bit, helped out quite a bit. Let me grab something here to poke these holes out, to be able to put the string in. But that's what they look like. So they came out real nice. That line after fill really helps out a whole lot. That really makes it a lot darker, because when it was doing it, it didn't have a whole lot of, you really couldn't see it. It really wasn't really that dark. But by having that line after fill, that really helped it out and let it be a lot darker, a lot more predominant, so you can see it better. So if you're not doing line after fill, you really ought to consider it, because it does, without a doubt, help out quite a bit. It just lets it stand out a whole lot better. And this is all the tedious stuff here, but it's all got to be done. Let's go ahead and push that one through. Okay, those two are done, that's done, and that's done. Let's put those two together. And that's what the Indian and the Pilgrim looks like. And of course, that's the one with what I call the female turkey. It just looks female to me. And the male turkey one, and then the little sign, little Happy Thanksgiving sign. And like I said, my folks are going to put this on their tree, just hang them up on their tree so that they can fill that tree, so it has ornaments on it. But I think I have all the little pieces out of it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and stop for a second, and I'm going to go and get the stain. I'm going to stain them all. I'm going to get the string, cut the string, and then I'll put them all together, and then I'll come back on and show you the finished, what it looks like at the end with the string and the stain and everything. All right, so I'll be right back. All right, so I went ahead and stained them all, cut out the strings, the rope for them, put them all together, and I'm going to show you what three of them look like. So that's the one. And you got the string on, twine on it. You can hang it up on the tree. And that's another one. It's the other one. That's the turkey. Stained, both sides. And the last one is the one with the Indian one. And that's that one there. So they are stained on all sides. They do have the rope and the string, the twine that goes through it. And that's it. That's his neat little, quick little project try to do. It didn't take long at all to put them on the computer and to go ahead and burn them and cut them and stain them and put the string on them. Didn't take really long at all. So it's just a cute little project you can do, something quick, something easy, and kind of dress that tree up. You know, you have those trees that have the leaves, the fall leaves on them, and they kind of come out real neat. So you can definitely put a bunch of those together and decorate that tree with them. You know, people do Christmas ornaments, or when Easter time comes, my folks, they'll do Easter. 4th of July, they'll do 4th of July ones. They do all kinds of them. So this was just one that they wanted to have some of them done, and that's what I put together for them, and that's it. So I appreciate if you liked what you saw. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe, share, give me some notifications down below. It's always hard coming up with projects and things to do, or maybe stuff that maybe people want to see. So, you know, if you just give me something that maybe you would want to see, and I can figure something out, do it, and put it together for you. But that was fun doing. That was a neat little thing. Didn't take long, like I said. It was fairly quick, real easy. You saw how I got them on the internet. Download them, create them, burn them, and cut them, and that's it. All right, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching. I thank you, and until next time, have a good one.